Okay, we're here with Marc Steron, managing partner and owner of Shanahans Steakhouse. Back in 2009, we had the pleasure of meeting you, Marc, and having a tour prior to the opening. And maybe you can kind of describe to us how important the lighting is, as well as the other aspects, and taking Shanahans very quickly to a world-class, nationwide recognized dining establishment.
Well, thank you for that, Nelson. In 2009, when we founded the concept and we're working on all of the initial design with our architects and general contractors, Nelson, we knew that we had a couple of key components that were really going to be critical in the design aspect and that would really affect the ultimate guest experience. And first and foremost was lighting, and second was sound. And we spent quite a bit of time on our lighting engineering as well as our sound engineering, but especially our lighting. And the restaurant has many dimensions to it in terms of having a more casual area that we're sitting in now, being our bar and lounge, which is also available to our guests, not just for cocktails but also for dining. And it kind of serves as just a little more upbeat of an environment and more impromptu for our guests than our main dining room. And then the next component to the restaurant in terms of how the space is configured is our main dining room, and then beyond that we have private dining. So we kind of have three different elements and different environments for our guests, and they all are suited for different needs. Our private dining guests are there more for business experience and having presentations with their companies, to their clients and to their guests. And then our main dining room is a little bit more celebratory for birthdays and anniversaries and date nights and experiences of that nature. And then we also have our patio, which we try to use as much as possible if the Denver climate allows for it. This year it's been terrific, but as a rule the patio also has two different areas in terms of having some fine dining and then some casual couch seating. So in every area of the restaurant, the lighting is absolutely critical, that it's balanced, it has a warm feel to it, it still allows for people to be able to read their menus with ease and also make them look good. So we want everyone to feel good in our space and feel like that they're not dealing with any challenges at all in terms of and struggling with any aspect of the lighting, and it just becomes very natural to them and they feel comfortable.
So back in 2009, it seems like just yesterday, LED technology wasn't to the point where it had that warmth, that ability to dim down and make your guests look great, as well as the food and spirits and wine that you serve here look great. So you had to overcome some challenges with fluorescent and halogen lighting, like putting gel film on the fixtures to warm up the temperature. And
yeah,
can you describe some of those challenges?
Well, we had to rig it a little bit back then. We were a little bit more restricted. So today, with the options that were presented to us, by your company, by Strategic Energy Systems, and we really learned what was available, and it was certainly amazing to me, just on a personal level, that within just a few years the technology became so much more advanced, and that it shifted to a much more user-friendly technology, and we were able to achieve within a very specific range, what level we wanted the lighting to. And in our restaurant we have a few different settings that are all pre-programmed so that they're very easy for our staff to understand and know how to accommodate our guest, accordingly. But we were able to, create a perfect level for our cleaning crew when they come in early in the morning, so that they can see all the things that they need to see to get to obviously make sure that there's no voids, and that they've been able to get the glass, cleaned properly, and that all of the, woodwork, is clean, and it's basically spotless based on, what they're able to view with the cleaning level when we set that. And then we transition into a dusk level once we open at 4 o'clock for our happy hour, and we usually keep that level on until 5 or 6 o'clock, and then from there we transition into a dining level. So, and all those are done by the push of a button, which is really terrific for us, and it achieves exactly what we need to at each time of the evening without the guest noticing really anything on our behalf, because it's all done with a fader, and it's done very seamlessly, and our guests never know that we're doing anything. They just know that the environment feels good.
I remember when we did the project a couple of years ago, you were spending significant amounts of money to repair fixtures that had ballast in them, and just the ongoing maintenance of lights.
Also, we had our staff on ladders pretty much daily. There was, something that was going out in terms of a bulb somewhere, and obviously with our high ceilings, it's a little bit more challenging for us to change the lighting. So every day there was something that needed to be attended to. It was also somewhat of a risk, to be honest with you, for our staff, to have them, climbing up on ladders daily. And I would always look at them with some trepidation, saying, I just hope we don't get unlucky and one of these guys slips, because it would, be terrible. But what you showed us with the, transition of the LED technology, and obviously the lifespan of the new technology, that changed everything for us. And I'm really not overstating that. We, in the last couple of years, have barely had to do anything in terms of lighting maintenance. So it was a investment for us on the front end, but it has more than paid dividends for us on the back end. And we couldn't be happier with the fact that we made the decision to kind of bite the bullet a little bit. And even though what we had kind of worked, and it wasn't anything disastrous, but now our time is much better utilized by our staff and by our management, knowing that the lighting is almost automatic for us every day, and it's not something that we even really need to think about.
One last thing on the project, we had to do the project overnight, and basically retrofit the entire restaurant and have it reprogrammed, although it did take us a few days to work out some of the issues with the existing Lutron system that wasn't even designed for LED, and making that work with the LED lights that we put in. But the end result was the levels now work, and for 2 years you haven't had any.
No, the compatibility has been really flawless for us at this point. I mean, it took a little bit of adjustment, but again, having so many different zones, if you will, in the restaurant, it took some time to be able to, dial that in the way we needed to, and you were able to do that for us, which was really impressive. It just, took a little bit of work, but what was most, challenging for a restaurant is to change anything and not have it interrupt your service, not have it interrupt your dining service, and still be able to, have guests, flowing through at the same time the next day with no business interruption at all. And we felt that that was probably the most successful part of the entire project, that you were able to work around our schedule and work around our staff and be able to come in and work through the evening during off hours when most people really don't want to work, but that we closed, I think, the night before the project at about 11 o'clock, and we had most of our team on their way by then, and you were able to come in and work through the evening, and that next evening following, that next day, we were open for business as usual. So to be able to do that was a huge project for us, and a huge success, because we really didn't want to lose any revenue, and you were able to put all that together for us in a very detailed and constructive way. So we're appreciative of that, Nelson.
Well, thank you, Mark, and I'd just like to thank you also for your attention to detail. As a customer coming to Shanahan's quite a bit myself, I really appreciate the attention to detail and the service that you provide. It's just off the charts, and the food is incredible. And
Thank
the
you.
whole experience, from top to bottom, is a testament to your management and ownership of
We're
the
appreciative of
Steakhouse.
that. Thank you, Nelson. And we view your company as a partner of Shanahan's, and not just a partner with this past project, but a partner going forward, because we feel like your intuitiveness and your expertise and just overall advice that you've been able to provide to us is something that we want to use for many, many years to come and evolve together, because we know there'll be more advances in technology and more changes. So we're very open and inviting to hearing more about that technology and how we can continue to meet the demands of our guest, and just run things the way we have been in the past, with very little involvement on my end, but with you keeping us advised and informed. It's worked well, and it's been a good partnership, and we look forward to that for many years to come.
Well, thank you so much, Mark. It's a pleasure to be with you today.
Yeah, thank you, Nelson. Yeah, it's great to be with you as well.
Thank you.